Good evening, chaps. How are you? Sorry, you caught me by surprise there. Anyway, cheers, everyone. Oh, decent drop of beer tonight, actually. I got thoroughly fed up with the Carling, so we're on the Heineken tonight, mainly because it was on offer in the supermarket. So it's a whole 1% more potent than the Carling, so it could get messy this evening, especially after the week that I've had, but I won't bore you with that. Let's see who is in the chat this evening. Who was first in? Stephen Tatton, congratulations, mate. First in tonight, then David Evans, Craig Stamen, Anton, Johnny Random, Martin Chapman, Michael Palmer, the Geordie guitarist Ian Rouse, Phil, Vincent Brennan, Jellyfish, and Chris Otterwell, and Billy Paul, and the Essex Cat, and Chip Young, Kieran Roberts, and Peter Collins, David Evans, Calby, Malcolm Spillett, Ian Clark, Steve Lamb, Scott Guitars, Evening Dan, Jimmy James, Malcolm Spillett. I've said you already, haven't I, Malcolm? You hear you twice. Graham Reeves, and Vincent Brennan, Frank Bolam, Chris Otterwell, Patrick Becker, Dr. Gomez is in the house, Colin Falcon, Evening Colony. Who else we got? Graham Campbell, Pablo Hank, David Daly, Andy Nisbet, Sargi's in, Neville Ray, Watches and Guitars, and Big Bocky, Geordie, and I think that's pretty much everyone covered, and Rexomatic. Yes, so a healthy turnout, it has to be said. I'm looking at the screen now and it's saying 94 of you have decided to join me for a beer this evening. I just thought, by the way, in the title of the live stream, I would, I would tell it like it is, that way nobody can accuse me of mis-selling. A fat, bald northern lad talks crap for an hour. So that's exactly what's gonna happen. That's what you're in for. Got a few things to get through tonight. Usually I just sit here and spew out a stream of consciousness prompted by whatever's happening in the chat. Steve Hoggerton. Evening, Steve. It's usually just I have no plans, but I have a sort of a plan tonight. There's a couple of giveaways that we're going to be announcing. So if you like free stuff, then stick around for that. And what else? And I have a bit of a query. We'll get to that query first, actually. I was talking to one of my students today, actually, lovely chap called Ian. I believe he's in the chat tonight. He's got a bit of a quandary on his guitar. He's got a vintage V100. The Peter Green one, the one that's not the relict one, but the whatever it is that's the replica of the Greeny Moore guitar, that one. And he's just put a fresh set of strings on it. And the weird thing is, this is what's happening. Okay, if I just pick up Blondie here, this is my weekly excuse to kind of pick up this lovely guitar. Okay. And it's only happening on the G string. That note there is fine. That note there is fine. But there's something weird going on here. Okay? If he goes to the 10th fret on the G string, the note he gets is the 11th fret on the G string. If he goes to the 11th fret on the G string, he gets the 11th fret on the G string. So it's basically 9th fret, 10th fret's missing. It sounds like the 11th fret, and then 12th fret. It even happens if you bend the 10th fret. It sounds like basically doing this sounds exactly like doing this. Yes, it is my signature guitar, Anton, have I not mentioned? So what's, your first kind of suspicion there is, okay, so there's obviously a problem with the fret at the 11th fret. But there isn't. First of all, it didn't happen with the previous set of strings. and checking the 11th fret with a fret rocker, it's perfectly level with the two either side of it. But yet when you go from the 9th fret to the 10th fret, it's basically that 10th fret note is missing. It's just sounding like the 11th fret. That is a new one on me. I just immediately assumed that, okay, so you've got a problem with the 11th fret. It's standing proud. But it's not that. He assures me it isn't. He actually did a fret rocker test in a Zoom call with me, this afternoon, and no movement on the fret rocker. So the 11th fret is level, yet when you play the note at the 10th fret, it sounds like the 11th. Does anybody have any idea what's going on? The only thing I can think of, the only thing which has changed, is he's put a fresh set of strings on. I'm thinking maybe it could be something suspect in the string. Maybe it's got a kink in it that's causing it to have that kind of thing there. The easy thing to do, of course, would be to whip a new set of strings on, but he hasn't got any more. He's got to wait for a delivery. So if anybody's got any ideas, please post them in the chat. Only on the G string, yeah. No, it's not a high fret, Phil. It's as I say, we've done it with a fret rocker, and it is that 11th fret is perfectly level. Yeah, I'm with you on that. A couple of people there are saying that it sounds like the string. No, pickup's not too high. It's got to be the string. That's the only thing that's changed. But it's just I've never known that to happen from like. A set of, you take the old strings off, put the new strings on, and suddenly this happens. That's a new one on me. I've been playing guitar since 1978. Dear me, how many years is that? I can't work. It's a big number, and I've never ever known that before. Oh, here we go. Yes, Graham, thank you. There's always a comedian in the house, isn't there? I have trouble with my G strings sometimes. It often chafes across my legs. Yes, indeed. As soon as you mention G strings, of course, that sort of comment is going to come out. It wasn't a wound G string, Sergeant. No, just a plain string. Is it string tension related? That might be worth checking out. Ian, I know you're watching this. Try dropping, drop tuning a little bit. Try maybe tuning down a semitone or something like that. See if the problem exists then. That could be something to do with it. So, anyway, excuse me. I've been talking a lot. I need another drink. Oh, dear me, that's good. Right. The strings were my favourite brand of strings, actually. These Legacy strings. I think you can only get them from Strings Direct. Great strings. I use them all the time. Easily as good as Didarios or Ernie Balls or whatever, and about £1 cheaper. So that's why I buy them, because essentially I'm a tight-fisted Yorkshireman. Yeah. No, it's the same, Dr. Gomez. It's the same string gauge, I'm assured. So my money is on just being, a dodgy string, because it's only happening on that one string at that one fret. I know if you've got a high fret, it can sometimes, be not across all of the strings, but for it to only be happening on one string, for me, that's got to be the string that's the issue. But I've never seen it before. So yeah, as we're saying, yeah, the easiest solution to it is just to chuck a new string on, and that way we can eliminate it, or eliminate, a process of elimination is what I'm saying, to sort the problem out. Beyond that, it's going to be a trip to the guitar tech, isn't it? Anyway, I trust we're all sitting comfortably. Let me tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. I've I've made a list, because how many times have I sat here in the past few weeks and said, now on Wednesday we've got, oh, I've forgotten. So I've written it down this week. No video tomorrow, Saturday. I don't always do a Saturday video. Sometimes I do, but not this week. But on Sunday, not the usual video on a Sunday. I'm sure if you know, subscribers have seen the notification, because I set it up as a premiere. But in the usual Sunday slot at 5 p.m. UK time on Sunday, I have a bit of an interesting chat with a chap called Rex, who's in the chat tonight. Rexomatic, there you are. Basically, Rex is a very interesting guy to talk to. It was when I was having a chat with him, we did a Zoom call and recorded it. I forgot that we were, you know, kind of having an interview, and it was just like I was just having a chat with a guy. It's like, felt like I'd known him forever. Anyway, Rex is the main driving force behind a band called Big for His Age, and they've got a new album out called Big for His Age 2. And we're talking about that album, his influences, you know, the story of the band and everything. We'll listen to a few songs from the album. And, you know, it was a great fun interview to do. And this is the topic of one of the giveaways. So we might as well get this out of the way now. Here's the thing. Right. Rex has asked me to kind of to facilitate this giveaway, so I'm more than happy to do that. Basically, what you need to do is go to my website, johnrobsonmusic.co.uk, and go to the lessons page. On there, you will find an email form. I'm sure many of you have used it before. And the first 5 people to send me an email with the word Rexomatic in the subject line, REXOMATIC, Rexomatic. Just put that in the subject line. You don't need to put anything in the body of the email. Just need your email address and Rexomatic in the subject line. I think I've got that across now. First 5 people to send me that email, I will pass those emails on to Rex, and he's going to organise some goodies and giveaways for you. It's going to largely depend upon where you are in the world, because if you're in the US, then it's feasible for him to send you some kind of merch and goodies and stuff like that. You know, but if you're outside the US, then you'll get like download codes for the album and that kind of thing. So the first 5 people to send me an email via johnrobsonmusic.co.uk with the word Rexomatic in the subject line, your emails will get passed on to Rex, and he will send you some free stuff. What's not to like about that? So there you go. It's a fantastic album, by the way, Big for His Age 2. If you like the Eagles, if you like the Byrds, if you like Robbie Robertson and the band, if you like Tom Petty, if you like that sort of country-tinged rock, Springsteen springs to mind as well a little bit, maybe a bit of Bob Seger. If that's the kind of music you're into, then this is very definitely an album for you. So, you know, watch the interview with me and Rex on Sunday, and you'll find out more about what it's like. But there you go. Get your entries in for the giveaway. And while we're on the subject of giving stuff away, before I forget, I want to say a massive thank you to Dan from Scott Guitars. He's been in a generous giving mood, and he sent me a box full of stuff here. And we're not exactly giving it away. We're going to raffle this, okay? And believe me, this is a prize worth having. Let's start off with just one of the things that's in here. You see this in all, or you hear one of these in all of the videos where I'm kind of doing any sort of explanation, where I'm talking about, you know, how I played this, or what, you know, how that solo is played or whatever. This is a Sonic Ache Twiggy Blues pedal. Fantastic little piece of kit here. You know, little multi-effects pedal. What have you got on it? You've got a compressor. You've got kind of a blues amp overdrive kind of thing going on here. Very, very nicely voiced that is as well. You've got a delay pedal, and you've got a reverb pedal, and you've got a cabinet simulator. It's so simple and easy to use, and so well voiced. It's a fantastic piece of kit. If you like classic rock and blues overdrive tones, that is a fantastic piece of kit to own. However, if your tastes run to something a little bit more high gain, then, well, you saw me review one of these a few weeks ago, the Behringer TM300 tube amp modeler pedal. Great for getting high gain sounds. It does a really, really good Marshall plexi tone, this. So, throw that in the mix with that Sonic 8 Twiggy Blues and one of these, and you've got a great range of country through to high gain, I would say rock and metal tones, right? So there's that. But we're not finished. No, hang on. Maybe you want to record the sounds that these things are making, and to do that you'll need an interface. Dan's also thrown in a Behringer Euphoria UMC22, and I can personally vouch for these. If I just pick up the webcam and bring you over here, you can see there's my version of the exact same thing sat on my desk there. That's what I use to record all of the stuff that you hear me playing, in solo analysis and, kind of tuition videos and stuff like that. Great little interface, very easy to use. You plug it in, it works, it does the job, and, no faffing around. So you've got the Sonic 8 Twiggy Blues, you've got the Behringer TM300 tube amp modeler, and you've got the Behringer interface. Pretty much an entry-level, everything you need, home recording rig for getting your guitar recorded onto your PC. You can grab a copy of Reaper for the free trial, or use Audacity if you're not bothered about MIDI capabilities, and you can start recording yourself. So what have you got to do to win all of that? Well, it's the usual kind of thing when I do these raffles here. What you do is you go to Zoe's Place. If you're impatient and you can't wait for the end of the video or the end of the live stream, you can Google Zoe's Place. But basically, on the replay of this video here, in the description, which I don't think is available at the moment, I've put a link to Zoe's Place website. Okay. All you do is you make a donation to them. Let's say £5, £5 or more, and then you'll get a receipt after you've made that donation. Screenshot that receipt, send it to me at the email address jrguitartuition@gmail.com, or the email address is actually in the description again as well. Send that screenshot of your receipt to me. And I'll just, at some point, I'll just pull the lucky winner out of the hat. Where are we now? It's let's leave this running for a few weeks. Let's say, let's have a look. So I can announce the winner on a live stream. Let's have a look at this. If we say the last Friday of the month, the 25th of February, I will announce the winner in the live stream on Friday, the 25th of February. So you got till then to make your donation. Send the screenshot to me, jrguitartuition@gmail.com, and I'll probably do something, where I do the draw on screen or something like that. It's only fair way to do it, and I'll announce who's getting all that lovely kit on the 25th. So there you go. Right, I've been talking like a man possessed. I need another beer. Let me just sort myself out here, and then I'm going to go and see what's been going on in the chat. And that's all the announcements done for this evening, by the way. We can get back to normal now. Get ready to shout flake, everyone. Although this is Heineken, it's nowhere near as foamy as the Carling I've been on the past few weeks. But by dearie me, it's nice. Cheers. Colin Falcon, no fondue set. Yes, that's a very, very. Colin, that reference really does date you, mate. It does. we had a game show in the UK in the 70s called the Generation Game, and one of the prizes on that was always a cuddly toy and a fondue set. Okay, Ian's got an update on his guitar. Drop tuning hasn't helped, but new strings are in the post. Yeah, this one, I'll be honest with you, Ian. That one's got under my skin a little bit. I'm desperate to find out what the cause of it is. I'm hoping it's a string. Andrew Bryan saying he bought a brand new Gibson and the G-string buzz turned out to be a faulty string. What's on the end of the stick, Vic? Yeah, there's another reference that only gentlemen from the UK of a certain age will get. Evening, John, and all. Watching CGS BBGS at the same time. Oh, yeah, multitasking. Yes, I know. I forgot that Mike had that going on this weekend. And yeah, Das, give the neck a little more relief by loosening the truss rod. Could work. I'd be inclined to go with the string solution first, because we've gone from, everything being fine with the old set of strings to, everything not being fine with the new strings. What else have I missed? Oh, now there's one. If anybody's got any ideas on this, what are your thoughts on pure nickel strings? I've liked them on a semi-hollow before, but tempted to try them on my Les Paul Jr. Do you know what, Graham? I've never knowingly used pure nickel strings. I don't know. I might have used them, but never knowingly so. What's this? May have missed you say, but it's not a rotor sound. But no, it's Legacy strings. They're Maiden Man. It's normally very reputable brand of strings. I use them all the time. Never had any issues with them. There's some advice for you, Ian. Somebody's just saying just buy a new guitar, so it's official. You can get that one by the missus now. Yes, there's another Bruce Forsyth reference from Das Schaff. What a great audience! So much better than last week. Every week on the show, that would be one of his opening lines. Here we go. John, I have an idea for a top 5 Tuesday. Choose your top 5 guitars from your collection. Tell us what they are, then play them in a blind test for us to guess which one comes from which guitar. That might be an idea. That might, yes, because, yeah, I never got to, that's it. I never got to the end of the list of what you've just sparked something there, mate. Graham, I was telling you what's coming up on the channel this week, and we started talking about Rex and the giveaways, and then I got into Dan's giveaway. So Sunday is Rex. Just a reminder, I won't go into all its depth again, but if just send me an email with Rexomatic in the subject line, and you'll get some free stuff if you're one of the first 5. That's the video on Sunday. On Monday, well, it's a bit of a classic rock 70s guitar solo, funnily enough. Who'd have thought that from my channel? But that's what we're doing. It's probably one of the best known harmony guitar solos from the 70s from a band who weren't known for harmony guitar parts. So riddle me that one. Which song am I talking about, and which band? Then on Tuesday, it's a top 5 Tuesday, but it's actually the beginning. It's part 1 of a top 10, and part 2. I've just finished filming part 2 today for the Tuesday after next. Basically, I'm talking about the 10 most important electric guitars ever made. Now, these can be guitars which have either revolutionized the guitar industry or had a massive cultural impact beyond the music business, or both. So I'm talking about, the 10 most important iconic electric guitars ever made. And part one of that is on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, remember that jam track I did this Wednesday where I showed you how I put a jam track together, or the kind of thought processes I go through when I'm putting a jam track together? Well, it just seemed natural for next Wednesday to do a jam over the top of that jam track and tell you what my thought processes are as I, kind of approach doing that jam. Then on Thursday, we have a bit of a long-term review. There is a guitar on the wall behind me that I've had for a couple of years now, and it's found a nice little niche in my sort of rotation of guitars. It's a guitar I turn to for particular needs, and we're going to basically do a long-term review on that. It's the Fender Nashville Telecaster that you can see just next to that that sort of blonde Telecaster style glary thing behind me. Where are we? There. The Nashville Tele. Basically a long-term review of that. And I've got another video coming up on that at some point as well, where I'm going to do a little bit of modding to it, and I'll be taking you with me on that journey. So that's what's on the channel this week. Then obviously after Thursday, it's Friday, and we're back on the beer again. So what we've been talking about, Queen Bohemian Rhapsody, says Geronimo. No, it's not Queen Bohemian Rhapsody, because Queen are a band. Isn't it a funny thing? Queen are a band with one guitar player, and one of their signature things is guitar harmony parts. No, it's not Queen. It's not a band that you associate with. No, not Wishbone Ash. And where are we? Do the Phil McKnight nylon test on the string, see if it's kinked. Yeah, that'd be a thing to do. My money is that it's on the string, because I just can't see what else it could be. There's only two factors in play here. It's the string and it's the fret. And if we've tested the fret with a fret rocker, it can only be the string. Queen would block anyway. Well, they didn't. They didn't, Das. I did a Queen video, not that long ago. I did the solo from Somebody to Love, and they just sailed through. I was expecting, copyright claim, but it didn't happen. It just, no problem. On your way. Nothing to see here. And the other side of that is, though, that the one band that I've always had issues with when it comes to that kind of thing are Fleetwood Mac. I've done a few tutorials on blues, and one blues chord sequence is that sort of 8-bar gospel blues chord sequence, the Need Your Love So Bad chord sequence, basically, even though it exists beyond that song. And even if I just use that chord sequence, or even if I use something similar to that chord sequence and change it and put it into a different key, it always gets flagged up by YouTube as a cover song and demonetized every time. Even if I don't play a note of lead guitar over the top of it, they're saying, you've taken the melody from this song and you can't have any money from this video. It happens every time. I did a video about it I think it was called Helping Mick Fleetwood Buy a New Maserati or something like that, because it was just, but hey, you know what? No one ever gave me when I was on my 18th birthday, no one ever gave me a contract and said, you know what, son, from now on, life will always be fair. It just isn't, and you just have to kind of learn to live with it, don't you? No, David, not Thin Lizzy. Sharp frets, luxury to have frets, luxury. Now, I'll put you out your misery. The solo on Monday, it's Bad Company. Can't Get Enough of Your Love. There you go. there's a great harmony solo from the 70s that, you know, from a band. How many other Bad Company songs can you think of that have got like iconic harmony guitar parts on? But that's the solo on Monday, so that's what we're doing. And no, Kieran, it's not a locking nut, mate. You must have been around, missed the start of the conversation. It's a Les Paul style guitar. It's the vintage V100, the Peter Green one, the Peter Green copy. Oh, Shep, mate, I've done More Than a Feeling. Ages ago, eons ago, I did that. If you're interested in seeing it, just search YouTube for John Robson, More Than a Feeling, and you will find it. Adam Neely covers copyrighted music rather well. Yes, he whatever he covers, he tends to cover rather well, I find. I haven't seen many of his videos lately because I'm just too busy. You know, an 80-hour week is entirely run-of-the-mill for me at the moment. I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying I don't get a chance to watch a lot of YouTube at the moment. I Love You Better has a good solo. Well, thanks, Deco, dude. I'll stick it on the list, mate. Boz Burrell, awesome bassist, Bad Company. Yeah, because wasn't he in King Crimson before that, but got a bit sort of hacked off with all of the kind of weird stuff that Robert Fripp was into, and just said, I just want to play some rock and roll. That's what I signed up for, and hence, you know, Bad Company. Where are we? Kieran saying, no, you know, I just don't listen. Here we go. Talking of strings, he's saying stings there. I think you mean strings. Talking of strings, how do you make your mind up on which string to buy? There's far too many makes. Well, I mean, for years and years, about 10 years, if it wasn't D'Addario, it didn't go on my guitar. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, the shop I was in, they didn't have my gauge in D'Addario's. You know, they didn't have. I think I'd just gone to tens, and they had nines in D'Addario's and they had 11s, but they didn't have a set of tens. So I bought Roto Sound, thinking it'll do. And I thought, well, these are actually pretty good. And I used Roto Sound yellows for years. And then just when I was on Strings Direct, I happened across these legacy strings, and they were a quid cheaper than the Rotor Sounds, and they had good reviews. So I thought, well, I'll try a set, and I've never looked back. So that's how I choose the brand. In terms of the gauge of strings, you know, I basically in the 80s I was using 8 gauge strings because it was, you know, that's what was the received wisdom. You want light gauge strings; it'll make you play faster. You know, and I was snapping strings all the time, so I went up to 9s, and I was still snapping strings, not as often, but still, you know, enough to be a hindrance. So then I went up to 10s, and having gone up to from that was in about, dear me, when was that? It'll be in about the mid-90s. I went from 9s up to 10s, and I've never looked back. And whatever guitar, I know some people they'll put 9s on a Fender scale length guitar and 10s on a Gibson scale length guitar. I just chuck them on everything. You know, and I accept the fact that a Fender scale guitar is going to feel a bit stiffer and a bit kind of tauter and tighter than a Gibson scaling. That's part and parcel of the difference between the guitars. So as I say, I just use those Legacies 10 to 46s, and you know, everything seems to work. And it's like, well, you know, once you've got something that you're happy with, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Do you know what, Geronimo? I've heard a lot of people saying that about Ernie Ball strings. I was disappointed by my last string change on my SC Custom, was in love with the sound and play the old Harley Bentons on it. Put Ernie Balls on instead and was not quite happy after that. I've never had a problem with Ernie Ball strings. I've never thought that they were, kind of absolutely fantastic and head and shoulders above anything else. But neither have I felt that they were inferior to other brands of string. I know, but like, if you watch a channel I occasionally tune into, Dave's World of Fun Stuff, the Canadian luthier and guitar tech, brilliant channel. You learn loads about setting up guitars, and he's also a really funny guy as well. And he's always very disparaging about Ernie Ball strings. I've never found them any better or worse than D'Addario, Rotor Sound, Legacy, whatever. Can anybody else remember Piccato strings? I used to use those at one point, and they were just one of the other brands of string that you used to get, but you don't see them anymore. I don't know if have they gone out of business or anything. That's just something that's literally just popped into my head. So if anybody knows what happened to Piccato strings, if you still use them or whatever, where's that? Steve, let's put you up on screen. Do you radius the screws on your humbucker pickups to match the neck? No, I don't. I've never ever found that messing with the pickup, aside from setting the pickup heights, which I do by ear, rather than any kind of measuring tool or anything like that, I've never found that I get sort of, discrepancies in volume between strings if I just leave the pole pieces on a humbucker, kind of flush or flat, rather. I've just never known. It's something that I suppose you could probably measure with an oscilloscope is going to make a difference. And maybe if you've got better ears than I have, you can probably hear a difference. But I just never, it's just, it comes from that, if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality, where, the only time actually I've noticed, and we're talking about strings again here, where I've noticed that there's, I had a real discrepancy in volume was it's the tight-fisted Yorkshireman in me coming out again. I bought some Tiger brand strings, about £2 a set. I thought, well, it's worth a punt on eBay. That's where I got them from. And it's like, I think it was the G string or the B string was just pretty much silent. It's just like there wasn't enough kind of ferrous metal content in it to kind of to excite the magnetic field of the pickup, because they were so cheap. They were just obviously made from just really cheap pot metal. And they just didn't function as electric guitar strings. That's the only time I've noticed any sort of volume discrepancy between strings on a guitar, and that had nothing to do with radiusing the pole pieces of a pickup. It's not something I've ever done, and frankly, it's not something I plan on doing, because why solve a problem that ain't there? Time for another beer in a second. Craig's saying, I've used Ernie Ball strings for years and always liked them, but that could be the fact that I'm a creature of habit and can't be bothered to change. There is a lot of that, I mean, there is one brand of strings that I just don't use, and I won't use, and that's Fender strings. And I know other people have no problem with them, but the thing with Fender strings is it's like, you'll put a new set of strings. For me, maybe it's just my body chemistry, I don't know. I put a new set of Fender strings on, and within a day, they've gone rusty. They've just oxidized on contact with my skin. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing about Fender strings. Maybe other people have, use them all the time, like the Fender Bullets and what have you. But for me, it's just that they just don't work for me. They just go rusty and dull, and and age almost overnight. So that's why I won't use them. I am thinking though. What are they, the Optima or Maxima strings? There's I think it's one brand that changed name, and I can't remember whether they started off as Maxima and went to Optima, or vice versa. But those gold-plated strings, Brian May swears by them. They're gold-plated, so they are not cheap. But, if people who've used them have said, well, yes, they are more expensive, but it's because of the life you get out of them, they are more cost-effective. So that might be something to do a long-term test on. Who knows? We shall see. John, be a man and drink out of the can. No, I find it too gassy out of the can. That's why I like drinking lager out of a glass, because it just gets rid of some of the fizziness by pouring it. Nancy's saying, what is your take on flat wounds? Never use them. Not knowingly. I've never gone out specifically and bought a set of flat wound strings, and so I cannot offer an informed opinion on them, because they are something that you have to hunt down, and it's the default when you go into a guitar shop and buy a set of strings. They're not going to be flat wound. It's something that you have to specifically ask for, and I've never had cause to ask for them, so I don't know, basically. Flat wounds are bloody expensive, therefore I don't use them, says Dash Shaft. Brian May can swear by whatever strings he likes. When I can afford to have 12 AC30s on stage, I'll buy his recommendation. Yeah, well, it's... I guess the reason why he has to have 12 AC30s on stage is so that he can have 3 working at any given point, because he has his dry sound going down the centre and then a stereo split between 2 others. I believe that's how he has it set up. And to have 3 working at any one time, he has to have about 12 on stage. But then again, there you go. Well, I hear what you're saying, mate. But he's lad's done well for himself. Do you begrudge him it? I don't. How much are legacy strings? I think you're saying there, Dave. I think they're $3.99 a set, and the more sets you buy, it kind of goes down, kind of about 10 pence, but about £4 a set, which for me is, it's anything that sneaks in under that magic £5 a set is, I'm going to go with that, unless there's a good reason not to. Let's see what I've missed in the chat here. Oh, Ian's saying thanks for the thoughts and advice, chaps. I'll update next week. That's Ian with his odd 10th fret problem on his vintage V100. Yeah, Legacy gives you a spare E and a B string. So I have a drawer full of spare E and B strings from Legacy strings, because I just never ever broke one. Chris Otwell saying, I have flat wounds on my Rickenbacker, nice and smooth when sliding, but they are expensive. Yeah, that whole kind of, I guess that is the reason why people use flat wound strings, because you don't get that kind of as you move up the neck. But on an electric guitar, is that really that much of an issue? It's certainly, something that is an issue on acoustic guitars. That's, when you hear, strings squeak on an acoustic guitar part, for me, it can be very off-putting, but I've never really noticed it on electric guitar. I know people use those coated strings, those nano web strings, to combat that as well. but I tried a set of those once and only once, and will never try them in. It felt to me like somebody had just had smeared lip balm on the strings. They just felt plasticky and greasy and like fresh out of the pack. They felt like an old set of strings. So, it wasn't really for me, that, to be honest. David Keynes is saying, bought some wireless connectors between guitar and amp. Relatively inexpensive and seemed fantastic response. Any thoughts or experience? I am thinking along those lines, David, I'll be honest with you. Because I have cables all around the floor in here, especially when I've got a student in here and they're plugged in and I'm plugged in, and there's these kind of the regular sort of, let me show you, regular sort of office chairs like that with the casters on that are always getting caught on the wires and stuff. So I am thinking about going wireless, but I just know that the battery would die at the most inopportune moment. So I'm kind of thinking maybe, because I'm in this room here from about 7:30 a.m. most mornings till 9 p.m. most evenings, playing guitar, talking about guitar, doing Zoom lessons and making videos with guitar. So I'm just thinking, like, is it just going to kind of get to a point where suddenly the battery's dead? I suppose if it does, I could just grab a lead out of the drawer, but we shall see. Colin Falcon saying the Legato 5.8 gigahertz on Amazon. Okay, I shall check that out. Oh, Time Prophet, you're late, mate. Been busy writing your web page and missed you completely last week, and nearly missed you today. Here's the thing, Time Prophet, I'm here every week. I'm here until you get sick of me, mate. Just looking at the numbers now, we're 46 minutes in of a fat, bald northern lad talking crap for an hour, and there's 207 of you. Dear me. It is, I mean, I say this every week, but it is like really gratifying, because I have, in the grand scheme of things, I have a relatively small channel. I've got 23,000 subscribers plus change, which I'm grateful for each and every subscriber. And don't get me wrong, but I know I'm not a big player in the scheme of things. I'm not Phil McKnight. I'm not Henning. I'm not, any of the big, Paul Davids or anything. It's millions of subscribers, rock star YouTuber. And I see channels that have got like many, many, many times more subscribers than me, and they're doing a live stream. And, you see that there's like 40, 50, 60 people watching. And I turn up here on a Friday, swigging beer, no plan for a video. I just talk, they just spew out this kind of stream of consciousness that isn't planned or anything. And there's 200 odd of you who turn up to watch me every week and join in. And I cannot tell you how touched and gratified I am by that. It is amazing. And I mean, Keith Williams on 5 Watt World, another channel I have a lot of time for. He always comes out in his videos where he says, "You are the channel, I just make the videos," and that is exactly how I feel. So thank you, everyone. Anyway, before I start sounding like some tedious Hollywood lovey at an awards ceremony, and I'd like to thank my agent, and I'd like to thank all of that sort of stuff. Let's get back into sort of normal mode. Lefty Pick saying, "Hi y'all, John, I just sent you a note, thanks and yes." Okay, right, yes, I think I know what you're talking about, mate. I'll check my email after the stream, and expect a reply from me tomorrow, mate. Where are we? Let's have a look. So what else have I missed? This is more of a community than a traditional channel. Well, thank you for saying so, David. That's very nice of you to say so, mate. Um, hey, you were up there with Davey 504 though. He only plays bass though. The bass player is the guy who carries the drums. Fair enough. It's because what you see is what you get. No sugarcoating on your channel. I wouldn't know how to start, mate. You know, I'm just, I'm amazed that I haven't, been cancelled by now. But I suppose before I started doing the whole YouTube thing, I had a little bit of a career, if you want to call it that, in local radio. Very local, very little career. I used to be on Palace FM, which was a community radio station in Redcar, and I used to do the. You're listening to the Jazz Quarter on Palace FM with me, John Robson, playing the best in contemporary and classic jazz from 8 till 10 on a Wednesday. I used to do the jazz show every Wednesday night, as you could tell, and I used to co-host the Friday Drive show as well. So I've got that kind of thing where I have a filter running a little bit of the time, so I don't come out with. You'll notice I don't really swear much on the channel. Occasionally something will slip out, but I find I can usually kind of get my point across, and without sort of seeming overly phony, without dropping the F-bomb every now and again, because at the end of the day, this is a revenue stream for me, and I don't want to get the videos demonetized by doing that. But I think when I'm not happy about something, I can express that without the the four-letter words. Oh, thank you, Chris. Your radio experience comes through on your podcast. Always enjoyable and great music. Did you ever say nice on your jazz channel? I did, Anton. Yes. Just ironically, I would do that. But thank you for that, Chris, saying that the radio experience comes out. Where's that gone? I just clicked on something and it didn't come up on screen. Excuse me, the gremlins are in again. Oh, there we go. I've gas for a Revstar, but I want to try them in the store, and they're no stock at the moment in Toronto, Canada. Yeah, that's the thing, mate. Those Yamaha Revstars, find a bad review of one. You can't. I'm like really, really curious about them myself. And at some point there might be a review. We shall see. Sark, talking radio, how about the solo from the Nightfly? Vincent, it's on the list, mate. Thank you. And this is a virtual pub for us, and we don't want to see it cancelled either. Yeah, well, I'm just, as I say, I'm just happy to kind of sit here and, spew my stream of consciousness and talk cobblers for an hour. So, where are we? Chris Buck plays a Revstar sometimes. I didn't know that. I've only ever seen him play Strats. Who's talking about Smashy and Nicey? Smashy and Nicey. Yes, again, a reference that many people outside the UK won't get. We used to have a comedian in the UK, well, we still do, called Harry Enfield. And one of his characters with his mate was like Smashy and Nicey, a real parody, brilliantly funny parody on old school radio DJs. Oh, Deco dude, you've gone from being a telly guy to a Strat guy. Well, I had the opposite transition a few years ago. Yes, that's right. I transitioned. Anyway, I just suddenly got bored with the sound of a Strat, and just I never really liked the bridge pickup on the Strat. I always had to replace it with a Hot Rails or a humbucker or something like that. So I was never happy with that sound on an out of the box Strat. And the middle pickup I never used. The two out of phase kind of in between sounds, I got sort of bored with them, and then so that left me with sort of the neck pickup, and that was all I found I was ever using on a Strat. And then I picked up a Telecaster, and suddenly I had three sounds that I really loved. So I sort of became more Telecaster, and then into sort of Les Paul style guitar territory. After that, where I was just more of a twin pickup sort of fan, really. Let's talk white poo and white dog poo and 70s dogs. That's a bit random, mate. So, what we got here? There is a gizmo that you can put your hands on to cure sweat problems. It's a tray with water connected to a 12-volt charger affair, and it seems to work for some people. It's not the hassle, not the expense. Okay, right. Well, fair enough. Is that coming back to my problem with Fender strings, where they would oxidize on contact with my fingers? Where are we? Been looking at the Sire Telly and I'm very tempted, says Craig. Yeah, I've been looking at the Sire Telly and I'm very tempted myself, but unfortunately, the money that I had set aside for the Sire Telecaster, the T7, has, it's gone to the tax man. I got... January in the UK is the end of January is where you have your deadline for getting your self-employed tax return in, and I got mine in, and got one of those moments where you do that at the end of the process where they give you your tax bill. So there may not be quite as many guitars getting reviewed in the next couple of months, because I just need to build up a bit of a war chest all over again, get some working capital built up. And the thing about that Sire Telecaster is I know exactly what's going to happen. I'll buy it and I'll think I'll do the review, I'll make some videos with it, and then I'll sell it on, and with the revenue from the videos, and I'll make a profit. I know it's not going to get sold on. I know I'll be buying it for me to keep. And so I've got to think along those kind of lines of, I've got to save up a bit, basically, because, I need to pay for my tax bill, basically. Let's just have a final look in the chat before we get into this. I see we're all talking about white dog poo. It's classic example of, I say in all the videos, and don't forget the live stream every Friday where we talk about music and guitars and whatever else crops up. Yeah, this week it was white dog poo. Anyway, Steve Lamb saying you already have too many tellies. There is a fair point there. I've got my signature guitar, I've got that Glary, I've got the Nashville Telecaster, and I've got the Frankenstein Telecaster, which you're going to be seeing in a video, not next week, but maybe the week after it makes an appearance. Anyway, chaps, it's been almost an hour, and not to put too fine a point on it, the beer has gone in, but it's not come out yet, and it's going to need to find a way out. I've got to go and break the seal, basically, and then there's a curry on its way, and I'm going to go and spend a couple of hours, a rare treat for me, having a bit of TV time with the missus. So thank you all once again for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern lad talk cobblers for an hour. It's been a blast, as always, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.